Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Blind View here on Rumble. And here is your host, Miss Rebecca Meadows.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening for another exciting episode of The Blind View. I am your host, Rebecca S. Meadows. How is everybody tonight?
Rebecca S. Meadows. Good evening. This is Brandon, of course, and cordial salutations.
Hey everyone! Hey Becca and Brandon and Gino and everybody who happens to be joining us this lovely Tuesday, I must say, Tuesday evening. So yeah.
Hello, Anya, my other co-host. I wonder where Paul is.
Paul will be making an appearance. I feel quite certain of that. We're just gonna be patient when he shows. But he better show, because Paul's the reason we moved the show to Tuesday nights, because we didn't want to lose him, so we were accommodating it.
I know. You better.
And
he said it's not permanent. I mean, he.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't know. We can always move it back if it works.
And it's absolutely no problem for Gino and me moving it from one night to another. We're pretty flexible. So
I was just being viewers, funny. Our viewers, I don't know if they feel the same way,
Well, the great thing is with this technology, if they can't watch us on Tuesday night, they could watch us any other time during the week by just going on and clicking on the email they got in their email folder if they are subscribed to us. So ladies and gentlemen, please be sure you are subscribed to The Blind View here on Rumble or whatever platform you're viewing us on, please. And you can email us at beccameadows76@gmail.com to let us know what you think of the show, or let us know if you have any gripes about the show. I'll spell that phonetically too. It's BECCAMEADOWS76@gmail.com. Okay, ladies and gentlemen?
You do make a good point, actually. I do really love things that are on demand. In fact, yeah. I don't even pay for cable, so you do make a good point.
Yeah, I don't pay for cable either.
No, you don't?
Oh, heck no.
I used to have a cable package that I subscribed to on my phone, but I only watched it on my phone. I never tuned into it on the TV. But I don't even have that anymore. I think I've got Netflix on there, but I don't think I have any actual TV channels anymore.
Well, there's nothing that really interests me to be subscribed.
I don't know if you guys can see it behind me, but I have behind me, I will say, an old boombox from the 1990s. Okay, and there's a reason to me saying this. I think it is absurd, just ludicrously absurd, the people that pay over $100, $130, $140, $150, who knows how much, it's even creeping up and up and up and up and up and up these days. They have a lot more latency when watching amazing teams like the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yes, I know last night wasn't so great, but they have like 30 seconds of latency. So I'm 30 seconds ahead of them with a boombox from the 1990s.
So, Brandon, I didn't watch the game last night. Can you share with me and any of our viewers who didn't watch it what happened last night? Was it a good game?
No.
Oh, was it? Did the Diamondbacks lose?
You could say that. Now, let me be clear. I am pretty proud of them, because I actually had the opposite emotion over the weekend. We almost swept the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, really? Is that who they played? Holy
no, not last night, but we played them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we won Friday and Saturday.
Oh, that's amazing.
We're third place in the National League West right now.
That was the Diamondbacks that played them?
Yeah, and we're third place in the NL West right now. Wow. And the Braves are first place in the NL East, National League East, and we beat them twice. We almost.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I know. But and then, so I'm hoping we come back and roar back tonight. So we're now in a series against the Boston Red Sox. Yep, in
Oh.
Fenway Park, at Fenway Park, I should say. And yeah, I don't know. Last night, people can look this up. So we got shellacked last.
So
11-1.
Do you
Red
listen to the
Sox.
games on the radio?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me
but
okay?
isn't it? What?
Oh, here you are.
Yeah.
Hi, Paul.
Okay. Perfect. Sorry about that, y'all. I know I'm a couple minutes off the mark.
Yeah, Becca was saying we moved the show to meet your needs.
Well, Paul, thank you for joining us. Paul, did you have a question for Brandon, though? I think you did, right? Or
No, I was just my question was who's first in the National League West?
That, of course, is the Los Angeles Dodgers, followed by the San Diego Padres.
Yes.
But we're third. And we
That's pretty
beat
amazing.
your team, Paul, twice in a row, back to back on Friday and Saturday. I was so
Woo!
happy.
I am a Braves fan, and I'm, as a matter of fact, wearing a Braves shirt right now. So
Well, we couldn't bring a broom. We couldn't bring out the broom. So you guys got the win on Sunday. So, but anyway, my whole point is, I can listen to the game completely free. And I mean, for people, they say, well, yeah, but you can't see the uniforms and the body language and the facial expressions and the
see
emblems on the
anything.
uniforms and stuff, and they're right about that. That's true. But still, for people that pay, for ESPN and all that, over $100 a month, and I can listen to the game completely free, and I'll be more up to date than them.
Oh, yes. And I have to tell you, I've listened to games and races, like NASCAR races on the radio, and I've listened to sports games on the radio. And I definitely prefer, I'm not that much into sports anymore, but I do enjoy sports. So if I took time to watch, turn on the radio when a sports game is on, I know I would enjoy it. Because when I was in high school, I listened to some games on the radio, and that's the only way I ever enjoyed it after I went blind, was listening to it on the radio.
when you was listening to NASCAR on the radio, was that recently or was that a minute ago?
What did you say? I'm sorry, my computer was talking.
I said when you was listening to NASCAR races on the radio, was that recently or was that a minute ago?
Well, that was a long time ago, and it wasn't necessarily NASCAR races, but I listened to like ball games on the radio and stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
Back when I was in high school, and then as an adult, when I got married, my husband was watching NASCAR on TV. But then he got a thing called, what was it called? The NASCAR. It was something extra special that we paid for, and I don't remember what it was called now. But when he watched the NASCAR game, he was able to hear the drivers speaking to their pit crews on the radio.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think there were some other perks too that were added in that were pretty cool from what I remember. I really loved watching NASCAR. And I always wished, I always planned on going to a game, or not a game, but a race, a professional race sometime.
Well, I think I was talking to you, Brandon, a couple months ago, and you get the NASCAR broadcasts on your actual boombox.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Which is
How do
great.
you do that?
I mean, I just
Is it a smart speaker?
no, it's totally dumb. It's got physical knobs.
Is it over the AM, FM, AM or FM
Yes,
radio?
ma'am. Yes,
Oh
ma'am.
my goodness, are you kidding? Is it on the AM then or the FM?
So that is actually an interesting thing that you bring up, because sometimes it does depend. Like for example, sometimes when there's NBA or WNBA, anyway, that's another topic. WNBA games, they will be on FM, and the Diamondbacks will be on AM. But if there's not like an NBA or a WNBA game, then they'll be on FM. And so that can be true for racing as well. I think actually the NASCAR races, I've only found them on AM actually.
Generally speaking, I think that's correct. Yeah.
Have you
It's
guys?
cool because baseball and NASCAR are uniquely American sports. So USA, yeah.
Yep.
And to Brandon's point, because I did come in here when Brandon was saying that the boombox or the radio is 30 seconds or whatever ahead of the actual apps. That is a
so
definite true
crazy.
statement.
Yes, the old technology still proves itself.
I mean, not always, right? Like, don't get it twisted. Nobody get it twisted. Don't be sending me any antiquated tech in the mail. I don't want it. Generally, I'm not a retro kind of guy, except when it makes sense. Like we heard Trump say, no, get all these newfangled catapults out of here. I want them powered by steam. So I mean, when it makes sense.
Right. Well, I saw you guys. I did not send any topic. I was pretty busy today, but I saw a topic from Brandon, and I don't know what Becca was going to do. But I know Paul's topic at all.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Democratic Socialists of America who've been running for offices around the country, and some of them have been winning. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's pretty concerning, but we are where we are, and we have enough dumb people who actually support this garbage. But yeah.
No, I agree. I think it's very, very concerning. And I'm just sad for the people because, right, I guarantee you right now, I could find people who would say, oh man, it's not working out how Zoran Memdani said it was going to work out already. And he just got elected as mayor of New York City this year.
Now, there is someone new running for governor of New York, correct?
You know what, though, guys? I have to admit that I think it was really great of New York City to voluntarily throw themselves on the bomb, right? And try out socialism first before the rest of us.
Well, it sounds good. Like, yeah, sure, they'll learn their lesson. But the problem is that this cancer is going to spread faster than we think. And before they really experience the beauties of socialism, the New Yorkers, I mean, by the time they actually truly experience it, if this ever happens, the cancer will have spread way too far to be stopped all across the country. That's what I think. It's not like
but hold on, because I got to ask both of you ladies, what do you mean? Because, like, Anya, you used the word beauties of socialism, and Becca, you said you're glad that New York took the gamble first. I'm very sad. I don't think it's easy.
Brandon, we're being sarcastic. Don't you get it?
Yeah, like I've been to New York City a few times in my life, only once though before the quarantine, and that was a brief visit, and I always planned on going back when I could spend more time in New York and spend time in what's that park called? They've got the park. Yeah, they've got Central Park, and they've got a lot of touristy things around New York City. They've got New York Harbor, they've got the Statue of Liberty, and just lots of things. And I've always wanted to go back to New York and hang out for a little while because, like, I went there on an overnight trip with my roommate years ago, and then Gino and I went there on a quick trip a couple years ago. But yeah, it kind of saddens me that the city's going to pot now. It's no longer the great place it was before to go visit.
Yeah, which is why Becca was sarcastic when she said, "Oh, let them throw themselves on it." Like,
right. Of course, I don't like the idea of this happening to New York City. It's terrible.
But I think there's enough people, at least I know people, who are very for that, and they don't think that there's a problem there at all. So,
well, I guess time will tell.
I think. Yeah, and I think
I think time has already told. Sorry, Paul. I just think time has already told.
I think one of the things that's a big issue. I was talking to someone who went to school in San Francisco, and they was telling me that they only learned one way in their education. They never learned about the more conservative way. And now this person is more conservative than more liberal. But they just thought it was really, I'm not going to say a disservice, but it wasn't fair in the sense of those what they was taught was only a one-minded way of thinking. And now that they've left, they, kind of had a change of thought. And I really do believe that is really a big part of the issue, is that the education system is teaching more of a one-sided way of thinking than both sides, and being impartial or being objective to the sides that there are. I think that's really what I think a lot of the problem is.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something, Paul. I can ask you this, us guys, we don't mind saying, like, how old are you? Either how old are you, or when were they in school? Do you know?
So they was in school. So I was born in the 90s, and they was born almost 10 years before I was. And I know I've said on this podcast that I've seen that in education. And I went to, high school 10 years after they did. So I've seen it, and I know they definitely had to see it. And interestingly enough, I grew up in more of a quote unquote more conservative state. And I was starting to see this in education as I was leaving. So I didn't grow up in California, as I mentioned, I grew up in Alaska, and that's more of a conservative place. And I started seeing more of a one-sided perspective as well. I can't imagine what it's like in a more blue state.
Whew. I saw it a lot too. I mean, not like I grew up in the Soviet times. I didn't, but by the time I came to the States, I had already read enough books, and I had learned a lot about the communism and how this worked, and because it was directly impacting my country, like there was still lots of leftovers, lots of trace. And then when I came here, and we started in college, started covering certain like classes and some other stuff, like, whoa, that's just so one-sided, so crazy. So it just stood out to me immediately.
I just wonder when it started, because
back in the 70s, I heard.
I believe it's the 70s. Yes,
well,
the 70s.
Okay.
The 70s. I heard a lot of people like Anya talk about the 70s was when it really kind of began.
Well, that's when it got started. Okay, well, because I'm 41. I was born in the mid 80s, but I was born and raised in the Midwest, and so I guess it just really depends on where you are in the country. And
but Brandon, keep in mind, it didn't happen overnight.
Right.
Slowly, the drop, by little drop, and then the further you go, like the more people's minds get twisted, and that's how they did, because they couldn't just come to the Americans and say, okay, so let's study about communism. Communism is cool. Of course, nobody was going to buy this idea. You have to like Overton window. Have you guys heard of that? Overton, I think I pronounced.
Yeah, I think I have heard that term. Yeah.
How do you spell it? I don't think.
Averton. Overton window.
Everton. Okay.
I think so. I'll look it up. I'll send you guys in a text message.
Okay.
But that's basically how some super preposterous idea, you don't introduce it to somebody because they're going to reject it outright. But when you start slowly introducing it drop by drop, little by little, and letting people get used to some very, very basic of it, and then further, and eventually you get to where you want it to be originally. People start looking at it normally, if it makes sense.
Well, because see, I remember from about the time of maybe some of my co-hosts will and others won't remember, but you might have read though about Desert Storm back in the 90s, right? That's about when I really remember like starting to comprehend and pay attention. And so I would have thought that by then, they would have tried to start inculcating it into me, but I don't remember ever having socialism or communism drilled into me.
Well, it's not that it's drilled, at least what I'll say is, growing up in the education system when I did, and I won't speak for anyone else, it's not that it's drilled into you per se, it's more that it's taught more than the other. The other, say one side is taught more than the other side is. And so it's not that they're forcing it down your throat, they're just not teaching you the advantages of, say, or the pros of, say, the other side. but they are teaching you a lot about
capitalism.
Right. And so they kind of talk about that for maybe one chapter, but they'll say spend 6 chapters talking about socialism. So you never really, unless you do the research, you never really understand the implications of capitalism. You understand the implications of socialism. You understand what it's all about. You never get to understand what capitalism is about.
Yeah, and then they do it so carefully, so skillfully.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, it's me, your favorite author, Rebecca S. Meadows, here with another message. You know, you can go up to Amazon and search Rebecca Meadows author to get your hands on each of my books. And each book is available in Kindle, digital download, Amazon print on demand, or on Audible. So enjoy, and please send me an email at beccameadows76@gmail.com and let me know what you thought of my book, okay? Oh, and please go up and write a review for me too. Thank you. Peace out.
Okay, guys, are you there?
Yeah.
So I feel like when I lived under that guardianship, I feel like it was very similar to living under a socialist government.
Yeah.
So can I tell you guys the big problems that I experienced when I was going through that, and we'll see if other people agree. Like even though I was extremely intelligent and I had received really good mobility training, and I had received some other good training, and I was really capable of doing a lot, I was living on a fixed income, a very rigid fixed income that was given to me by my guardian at the time. And at the time, I was locked under that guardianship when I was 20 years old, and I had a lot of hopes and dreams. But when they locked me under it, I couldn't go anywhere and pursue those hopes and dreams, because they literally, like when you're in a socialist country, they lock you in a place and they tell you this is how much money you're going to get, and these are what the things you're allowed to do. Like when you're only allowed to make so much money, or you're only allowed to work so hard to achieve when they limit how much you can achieve, no matter how much you work, it holds you back. Do you guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why they don't want you to grow. Yeah.
And it puts your mind in a box. That's really what it did to me at the age of 20, right? And I can't imagine growing up in a socialist society my whole life, but the first 20 years of my life, I was a free woman. And then when they locked me under that guardianship, and all of a sudden I had to ask a man's permission to go places, and I had to wait until he gave me money to do anything. I literally couldn't plan on going to college anywhere, because I couldn't leave the city of Missoula to go anywhere to get training, to learn how to use a cane, to learn Braille, to learn how to use JAWS or other accessible technologies. I had no idea any of those things even existed. That's how sheltered my life was. And I just feel like these people, when they're in these socialist societies, I think they go through the same limitations. Do you guys know what I mean?
Yeah, and you did mention training that you couldn't do or you didn't know, but it's slightly off topic. But I was going to ask you guys if you heard of that incident everybody's talking about right now, what happened with the Louisiana Center student who got hit.
No, I haven't heard about it. What happened?
I don't think I heard about it either.
Yeah, last Friday. I mean, I don't know the details, because you know how things are. Like when something happens, people start yapping about it without gossiping. But from what I know for a fact, that one of the student, 41-year-old woman, a LCB student, she got hit by the train.
Okay.
Yeah, very badly. So she had to be airlifted and stuff.
What were the circumstances? Was she out on an O&M lesson, or
no? So LCB, meaning the Louisiana Center for the Blind, correct?
Yeah.
So she was a trainee there. She was a student there.
Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing. It has thrown a lot of rumors around it, so nobody knows what actually happened and how this happened. So some people say that it happened after the classes. You know, it was on her own time. Some people say that she stepped back, but the train carried something. You know, something was hanging off the train that hit her, and she fell or something like that. So you know, sometimes they have something sticking up on the sides, and like this story is pretty weird, but Becca mentioned training. That's what made me think of it, and I just wanted to say that because a lot of people just jumped at this issue, started dogging the centers. Oh, they need to close down. They don't worry about some
No. Can you tell us how badly the woman was hurt? That's
Well,
terrible.
like I said, she
never-
was airlifted, but like she was taken somewhere by air ambulance. But I don't know anything else.
Well,
goodness.
okay, but here's something that I'll say in limited defense of, and I'm not. I don't have a dog in this fight at this point in time. Okay, but this is something that I will say. I don't like it when there's trainees or students that are on O&M assignments where the cane travel trainer or the O&M instructor, whether they're an OMC or what's the other one? There's NOMC and I forget anyway. Two different ways that you can be trained to become an orientation and mobility specialist. NOMC. Oh no, I said that one. But anyway, when they say to somebody, "Hey, go get me a sandwich from blah 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 restaurant. We can both have lunch," but they don't even go with the student. I don't think that's safe. I
Well,
understand.
but look, they don't send you. I disagree because they won't send you on your first day of class. They will send you only if they know that you're ready.
If they think you're ready, yeah, they'll train you up to that. To be
Correct.
ready
But
for that.
I think for the instructor to not even be anywhere in the vicinity of the person, that's risky and that's dangerous.
But again, we don't know. And in one of the versions of the events that I
Oh, I know. I used to work for a center, and
So-
instructors would do that.
I've been to the centers, but I think that the centers sometimes they have a shadow for the student. Like at least I was told, like early on in my training, I was told that they shadow the students until they feel that they're competent. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
I do know what you mean.
challenge you.
I do know. I do. I'm not here to lambast orientation and mobility
Yeah.
instructors. That's not my point. But I just think you should always be somewhere in the vicinity, just in like who know. It's a crazy world now, more crazy than
Right.
ever.
I agree when she's at when the student's in class, but she was not even at school. This was in her own time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
her-
yeah, yeah,
her
yeah. And
instructor
right,
should not have had to be shadowing her
100%.
during that time.
100%.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I
Correct.
understand what you're saying.
So, Brandon, what you're saying is, okay, so say I'm learning how to navigate a new place, and I know how to go to the new sandwich shop down the street. And my instructor has taught me how to do that. And my instructor one Tuesday afternoon says, "Hey, Paul, I know you know how to get to the sandwich shop. I know you know how to get to Miller's sandwich shop. So I want you to go down and get me a turkey sandwich from Miller's sandwich shop, and you can go get yourself a roast beef sandwich from Miller's sandwich shop. And I'm going to be here. You have a problem with them being here and not actually being in somewhat that immediate area."
Correct. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
That's
Because I just you never know what's going to happen. However, like what Becca said and Anya said, if you're on your own time, you better implement the skills that you're learning, and you better do it the right way.
Yeah,
Because
and-
if you're on your own time, the center should no longer be liable at all.
yeah.
Well,
When you're
but
on
look-
your own time, if your skills aren't good enough, then you need to find someone to help you.
Well, but see, accidents, that's what they are called, accidents. They do happen.
Uh-huh.
I mean, even if the instructor, like Brandon, let's say you are the instructor and you went with the student and you say, "Oh, I should be in the vicinity." Okay, you're in the vicinity. Let's say you're what, 100 feet away from the student.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the student steps in a, I don't know, ditch or slids and falls. I mean, what can you possibly do then? I mean, you're blind. You don't even know what happened. I just
Well,
screams or something, somebody points that out. I mean, what kind of help would you have? How would you have prevented that being there?
well, because I feel like, my ability to perform traffic analysis is good enough. My familiarity with the environment would be good enough. I mean, right, accidents happen, sure. But I just think, to take the opposite perspective, it looks bad if they go to the instructor and say, where were you at? What were you doing? The instructor's like, oh, I don't know. I was playing solitaire. Really? You weren't even in the vicinity? You had no idea.
Well, but let me tell you something. I was a student at CCB too, and I'll tell you, there is something psychological about having your instructor near you. So first, I remember early on in training when I started learning, the instructor would go with me, and sometimes just with me, we would be talking, whatever. But sometimes the instructor would be somewhere nearby without me knowing where they are, But I logically felt that support. I knew they were there. But when you're sent on an independent route, it's a totally different thing. Because you feel like, okay, I'm on my own. I have to really focus. I have to really implement. Pretend that I graduated from the center. Now I'm totally on my own. So I need to figure out how to do this. I don't have this little cushion that I can lay back to. You know what I mean? So my point is that it is okay to send students by themselves.
Hey guys, can I ask you guys a favor? When you're speaking, if you use abbreviations like LCB or NFB, can you spell those out for our viewers? Because I'd like them to be able to look into places we're talking about.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Louisiana Center for the Blind. We have mentioned that earlier on today. Yeah.
Yeah. But CCB is Colorado Center for the Blind, and LCB is, I didn't hear which one you said, Louisiana Center for the Blind.
Right. But see what I mean, Brandon?
I do. And I feel like now see, I can understand. I feel like if and when, because if I were an orientation and mobility center, I would expect there to be a when. If and when the student said, no, man, just chill. You don't need to go with me. I got it. I would right then, I would say, okay, wait, hold up. And I would start recording or with their knowledge. I would say, listen, I'm going to record you saying this. You just told me you're going to go grab us some sandwiches and you don't want me to come with you because you feel competent and confident that you can get there and back safely, correct? And then I'd let them go. Of course, yeah, because I do feel like they should get to that level. Absolutely.
What if
when they're at that level, I just want to make sure that I'm covered.
What if you just play possum with them? By that I mean, okay, the student wants to go to Miller's Sandwich Shop. Is that what I called it last time? And so Miller's Sandwich Shop is a mile away. And the teacher goes, okay, I want you to get a sandwich from Miller's Sandwich Shop. And the student goes, oh, are you going to be with me? And the teacher goes, I don't know, may or may not be. So they're not dodging the question, and they're not saying they're not going to be with them. They're just saying that I may or I may not be. So now the person is going to pay more attention who's on the route. That person is going to really try because they don't know. They may have a safety net. They may not have a safety net. And I am, unfortunately, in this day and age, on the side of Brandon to where it's like the safety net. If you're in a structured environment like that, unfortunately, I think it has to be there only because you hear a lot about the lawsuits. You hear a lot about, issues that occur. So I think it has to be there. Now, I went to a center and this similar situation happened. I got taught how to go to a restaurant, and one of the people said, hey, Paul, I want you to buy me, I don't know what it was, chicken sandwich. I'm like, okay. So I went to the restaurant and I bought the chicken sandwich and I came back. Now, I didn't even ask, are you going to be around? I didn't even ask. It didn't even occur to me. I just said, okay, you want me to go do it? We've done it 1,000 times. I'm going to go do it. So I did it. Now, they could have been watching me the whole time. I don't know. But I made it there and got them their sandwich. That's all that matters. And I made it back. So,
yeah, that's a very good point, because they did do this at my center, because they would send you on a route and you don't know whether the instructor is going to be there or not. Yeah, it was kind of
when I was trained. It was a little bit of a hybrid. So I knew that my instructor was somewhere around, but he did not help me. And I did my training in a very complex environment from a very young age. I'm not trying to make myself sound good. I'm just simply letting you on this. So I think I've mentioned this. I did a lot of my orientation and mobility training, my CAN training, at a Vietnamese seminary, a Vietnamese college. And so it was a fairly big I don't know. I'd say maybe, I don't know, 20-acre college, 30-acre
Oh.
college.
So I have
know.
a question. So
And so if I got lost or something,
How old were you when you did that training, Brendan?
this was from about the time that I was, I think, basically like 10 to about 14.
Oh, you didn't get O&M training till you were 10? What did you do
Correct.
the first 10 years? Because you were
Just-
blind, right?
Just went, sighted guide, or,
Oh, okay.
I did learn like those old techniques of like trailing the wall or protective technique, but
Oh.
like formal O&M training.
Did
no,
you
not
at
till I
least
was-
have a cane back then, even though you didn't have training with it?
No.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And then see that's interesting to me.
That is interesting because I thought,
Well, in my blind, I know it's a different country, but in my blind school, nobody used cane, and the way they taught us was to extend your arm out.
Yeah, protective technique. Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, but that does no good to tell you if you're going to trip on something that's lower than your hand or
I know.
fall down a set of stairs in front of you.
Yeah, but at least you won't hit your head. That was the idea.
Right.
Yeah, well, the cane doesn't always work either, because what if you have a post that curves up? And like those street signs sometimes that curve and they're not straight up all the way. And so the cane may miss it, and then your head still may hit it.
So you guys, I'm 6 feet tall, and one thing I've noticed is my cane can't tell me about overhanging tree branches. And I've gotten hit in the face before by tree branches because I can't see them, and I'm walking too fast down the sidewalk with my cane.
I mean, I feel like the only time my instructor would have stepped in is if I would have, let's say, gotten onto a platform that did not have a railing and I was going to fall like 2 stories down. Now, then he probably would have been like, okay, wait. Hold on. You're not where you're supposed to be. You need to use your cane very carefully because you are not where you are supposed to be.
So,
but I think that's the only time he would have stepped in.
But I'm thinking, okay, so say you was at the Vietnamese place and you say you needed to go to room 272. And so say you get a little lost. And so say you see a guy and you go, hey, I need to go to room 272. And the guy goes, oh, that's, I don't know, that's 4 doors down. I'll just bring you there. Now, do you get in trouble by your mobility instructor? Because you didn't tell him to bring him there. The guy's telling you, oh, I'm going to bring you there. So
the way my instructor would have handled it, he would have not intervened in that one, but then he would have pulled me out and he would have said, okay, you know what, we got to do another one because you've got too much help. You know how to read Braille. You know how to use a cane. Now I'm going to give you another room to find.
Yeah.
No, I think we've had, when I was learning too up north, we would have to, they'd throw us in the mall and they go, okay, we want you to find blah, blah, blah on this floor. And like, we would have to ask people where the elevators was because we couldn't find the elevators. It was me and I think someone else, and we couldn't find the elevator. So we had to ask. And so then the person helped us, and then we had to feel our way to the Braille and then read the Braille in the elevators and then get to the ice cream place or whatever store it was. We had to get to it that way. And so,
and I will say this for any of our viewers who think that trainers are too hard on blind people, we're not. But I will say, listen, it is true, at least where I come from, in a training center environment, we do make it as hard as possible for you so that you learn, so that you have to problem solve. We're trying to engage your mind. We're trying to make you think your way through the problem or around the problem. So you guys might be thinking, gosh, like there's such an easier way to accomplish. Yeah, there is, but we're not going to do it for you.
So you guys, let's talk about training, right? Like I went through like sleep shade training because I have some residual vision, and I don't know if I think you guys don't, so you may not have experienced the sleep shade training, but it might sound scary to our viewers, the idea of putting on a sleep shade and then trusting this long stick. Let's say you're newly blind and they say to you, we want you to put on the sleep shade to get rid of your residual vision, and we want you to use this cane. And And so,
Ooh, I can see how that would be terrifying.
yeah, so can we discuss this for our viewers to help them understand how we do this at the schools and how we actually, it is beneficial and this is the best way to teach it?
I don't agree that it is, so we can have that discussion.
You don't think it's the best way to teach it?
Not at all.
What do you feel is the best way to teach?
Because
Non-visual skills.
not everyone is going to have that degree of blindness. There are some people who are blind and some people who are visually impaired. And the fact of the matter is not everyone's going to lose their vision. A lot of people will.
But how do you know if you will or will not? So if you do, you have to come back to training again?
The doctors may say you're not going to lose your vision, and maybe they've always had a visual impairment, and the doctors go, okay, it's not going to get worse. Now, it might not, but as long as they have any sort of vision, and I can speak to people who I've spoken to, until they go completely blind, they will continue to use whatever that part of vision is. And so I think personally, and I didn't go to one of these centers, I went to a different one. And what they did is they taught you with the amount of vision that you had to work with. And I tend to agree more with that than the sleep shades method. Because to me, a one-size-fits-all method doesn't always work.
Okay, I feel just the opposite, and I want to tell you why. I feel like if you have residual vision, wearing the sleep shade is recommended and it's the best way to go. And the reason I feel that way is because, yes, I have residual vision, but there are days when my vision is not as good as other days, right? And I'm only 50 years old, and I could go blind for other reasons in my life. And then if I didn't learn how to do things in total darkness, I'd have to go back and get more training. But this way, we all learn all of the skills. And so, like, even if your power goes out, you don't have a problem because you learned how to do everything under a sleep shade, you know? And so, and I'm a proponent of getting the best training you can and doing it the right way instead of having to go back and get more training and stuff. So that's why I really believe in the sleep shade training, because then it's a one and done. You learned how to do everything with absolutely no vision. And I feel like I have an edge on doing everything because I learned how to do stuff under a sleep shade and not, do you know what I mean?
And I agree with Becca. Okay, I'll catch you after the break.
Yeah, stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, are you enjoying the show? Are you enjoying the books? Are you enjoying everything we're doing here at Blue Butterfly Enterprises? If so, go up to bluebutterflyenterprises.com and check out our store and buy some of our memorabilia. Wouldn't it be cool to have a Becca's World hat or t-shirt or coffee mug or a bumper sticker for your car? I'm gonna get one for my car when I get a car that I can drive.
Okay, is everybody there?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Anya, with what you were going to say.
Yeah, I was going to say that I agree with you, Becca. And, you know, a lot of people who come to the center and first they're resentful because it's so unusual and not to use their vision. But after a while, once they learn things that they can do without looking at the knife when they're cutting or looking at the skillet very closely. So the training center teaches you how to not adapt your specific angle of vision to a certain thing, but teaches you things in general. You know,
Yeah,
so a lot of people
and that's
say,
the whole point.
"Oh, I'm so happy. I don't have to look. I used to have to bend down and look closely and, you know, put my glasses on or whatever. But now you learn and you're happy. So I don't see the problem with that at all."
But my argument to that would be, and like, I understand y'all's point, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. My only argument to the point would be is, okay, well, when they leave the training center, do they still, you have to maintain and continue practicing those skills, or you'll lose those skills. So say someone goes into a training center and they use the sleep shade method and they're really happy about it and they learn a lot. And I go, okay, that's great. No problems with that whatsoever. Well, now they leave that training center and say their vision is pretty stable for 1, 2, 3, 5 years. Then 6 years later, 7 years later, their vision starts to kind of go downhill. And then come a decade later, they're completely blind, unfortunately. Well, they ain't used those sleep shade methods since a decade ago. And so now they're going to have to go back to it because they didn't use them. They didn't use them.
You might be right.
I guess it depends on how much residual vision you have, because my residual vision is pretty much worthless. At least it was back then, right? And so I just really feel like learning the non-visual skills, I felt like in situations where I was able to use my vision a little bit along with the non-visual skills, I just felt like I was way ahead of the game. And if I couldn't use my residual vision but only use the non-visual skills, I still felt like I was able to perform appropriately at the task in question. You know what I mean?
And not everyone's going to lose their vision. Some will be
Right.
visually impaired. And that's kind of my point with this all is not to necessarily have a debate, but not everyone's going to lose their vision. Some will. And to that, I say, yeah, y'all should probably learn these methods, but some may not. And they just need a little bit of help trying to use that amount of vision that they have. I have a friend right now who went to the same center that I did. And they taught him a little differently because, hey, he's visually impaired, but he technically still can drive. Well, he shouldn't have to learn under sleep shades, in my opinion, because he's not losing his vision. He's
So why is he going to the center in the first place?
Because he technically was and is visually impaired.
And there's another reason why I feel this way about this topic, you guys. And that is, I believe if we're going to put forth the time and effort to learn things and to do things in life, we should try to get the best bang for our buck for the time and effort that we extend, right? And like I said, because you use a sleep shade for this kind of training, you just, it's cemented into your brain better. You know what I mean?
Now, I am, believe it or not, I do believe that people who are visually impaired should have the same skills. I can't see anything. And so, when I cut things, I gotta do things by touch. And actually a couple of days ago, I was making a tri-tip and I did, there was a little bit of a nick that happened to the finger. It happened. But it would happen to someone who can see as well. So I don't give myself too much grief about it. Might have made the meat taste better anyway. No, but in all seriousness, I think that we should have the skills to be able to do things kind of where there is no vision involved. But I don't think the one size fits all method. I personally don't agree with one size fits all. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny here, but I mean, come on. Y'all talk about how y'all don't like socialized medicine and that kind of a thing. Well, that's a one size fits all deal right there. All right.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I can understand, I can comprehend both approaches, but I know two people right now who are losing their vision, and it's been a long time coming. And both of them, I don't know, maybe there is no perfect system, but both of them have said to me, like, it is different being blind as opposed to just visually impaired. And that's just kind of nomenclature anyway. There's blindness has a legal definition, but visually impaired is not. That's kind of a somewhat of a euphemism. But both of them have told me, man, it really is. It is a lot easier reading Braille and using assistive tech, just learning to use VoiceOver or JAWS or NVDA. It really is. Now that I have to do it, I do find that it is easier. So I don't know.
Yes, using non-visual skills is easier than trying to work with limited vision.
No, I
guess.
heard that. Yeah. I heard that. But I mean, I know someone who could see very, very, very big things, like would have to really get to the really, really close to the street side. And they said, gosh, you just don't realize how much you use it until it's gone. So, I look at the centers and the training places also like this, and this is kind of maybe a little bit of a tangent, but a lot of people after they leave California School for the Blind or Colorado Center for the Blind or Louisiana Center for the Blind, They leave, and if them people go home, go back to their parents, it was a waste of time. Because their parents, and most times, ain't going to make them do the same things that center was making them do.
That's yeah.
That's a
yeah.
problem.
Okay, and I look at that the exact
This
same
is
way.
not the center's fault. I mean,
And-
No, that's
and
not
so-
the center's fault. But I look at it the exact
Yeah.
same way as, okay, you're putting me under sleep shades. My vision ain't going. I ain't gonna do that when I get out.
Yeah.
Well, but I'll say this though, like when you're in the training center environment, right? Let's say we all go camping, right? The other thing I don't like though about the approach that you favor, Paul, is I just have a concern about the groups being very segmented and the people that have usable vision kind of poking fun at the totally blind people because maybe it takes us a little longer or maybe, whatever. I worry about those cliques getting started.
and it
Okay,
does happen in blind school environments.
I know that happens, but you know what? I got to be completely honest, and I don't want to sound mean in saying this, but you know what? Blind or sighted, you're going to get made fun of for everything and anything, no matter who you are. Because, you could have a group of all blind people, and there's that one person who gets made fun of for whatever. It just happens.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's good, right? You all know I have things.
Y'all make fun of this particular blind person that y'all know that says the word BECAUSE a little different than other people.
No, I know, but you know what I'm saying. I'm
That's
saying I would have concern about there being like a standing division between those who have vision and those who don't. Because let's say we said, like, I would be in favor of, let's say over lunch, nobody has to wear learning shades. Nobody, at lunch you can take them off. Would you see a lot of, like the division, and I don't think that's healthy.
I think you like when I went to the center that I went to, they didn't have us do the sleep shades things, and there was a lot more people who was visually impaired than blind, and what I can say is I never really experienced that. Actually, the friend that I'm talking about, he was pretty high partial, if you will, and I'm completely blind. And we just hung out and got along because we got along over liking, I don't know, Jack in the Box chicken sandwiches, or whatever.
So you didn't notice any more like ribbing than normal anyway.
Personally, I didn't see it, but do I think you're right that it occurs? Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. I don't
You
know.
mean competition between totally blind versus visually impaired?
Oh, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I always felt? I've most of my life since I went blind, most of it I've qualified as visually impaired and not totally blind. But I have to tell you guys, when I am at blind school or at an NFB convention or at blind camp or anywhere with a bunch of blind peers, right? I am the runt of the litter. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, they all have, like, the people who are totally blind or who've been totally blind their whole lives, they always have way better O&M skills than me. They have way better Braille skills than me. They have way better tech skills than me. And when I say all of this, I mean, like, they're better at catching a scent or hearing something and identifying it. I mean, I have really great hearing, and my relatives and my friends are always impressed with how great my hearing is. But it's nothing like my blind peers who are totally blind or who have been blind their whole lives. You know what I mean?
Huh.
And so I, like, when I'm around my blind peers, I always feel like I am struggling to keep up. Do you guys know what I mean?
So maybe it doesn't matter. To Paul's point, maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a sociology, psychology question. Maybe it doesn't matter. That's good. If that's the truth, if it doesn't matter any more than normal statistical deviance, then that's good. I didn't go to school with blind people at all. I went to public school.
I didn't either.
I went to public
Right,
school. I was
right.
a
I
year and a
didn't
half.
go to a blind school. That's why I don't know, because
I
I've
went
even,
to blind school.
you did, yeah.
Yeah, for all, and I can speak to the cliques. Yeah, people do form cliques.
Well, yeah, but is it any higher rate than just what people naturally normally do?
Well,
Like make fun of people? Is that what you mean?
Sure,
Or like
sure. Yeah, I mean,
teasing or-
because as a society,
no,
I mean,
not even teasing. It's more of a subtle thing. I mean, I was always like, I'm very outspoken, very outgoing. Like I always hang out with cool kids, let's say it this way. But
okay.
Well, you hang out with us, so I don't know. Your
very,
stress might be dropping there.
yeah, but I gotta say, it's more in a subtle way. So when you go somewhere, like there are seats to be taken, like like you walk in a big auditorium and you need to find your row.
Okay.
Group, and then of course if you walk with one of your friends, they quickly walk to that right spot and sit. But if you're not with them, if you're by yourself, of course it's going to take you a lot longer to find, and those kids are already sitting there and taking the best seats. And just one example that came to my mind.
Yeah.
But there are many, and not like they're treating you poorly. They can say, hey, over here, come over here. They will help you. But again, they have that advantage of going and grabbing something first, or being ahead on certain things, just by the virtue of being able to see something.
Yeah,
Well,
no, that would be anywhere, I reckon.
I think, yeah. Well, see, and when you were in school, I can't. Maybe you said. I'm sorry, I forgot. Did they make you guys wear learning shades or no?
Oh no, absolutely not. Not even
No. So right. So I don't personally see like that's inherently bad, because like Paul's saying, we shouldn't necessarily penalize somebody. Although, I don't know. Like in terms of, I think people that go to blindness training centers or blindness schools, there are, I think, blindness skills. Like pretty much only blind people know how to read Braille. Like statistically speaking,
unless
pretty much only blind people know how to use a cane. Oh, I mean, any sighted people can wave it around like a dork. But I mean, if you actually want to know how to use it to get around safely without anybody helping you, pretty much only blind people know that. And we need to know that. So you should pay attention. You should get those skills. You should become independent, because I've done it. I've done it. That's how I know you can do it.
Can I tell you guys something that I think?
Yeah.
I think so. The military, when they train our soldiers, especially if they're training them for espionage things and stuff, I think they should send them through like a 6-month period of the sleep shade training, because it will hone their senses and their skills. Don't you guys agree? It'll make them that much better of a spy. You don't think it'll ever happen?
It'll never happen. That's where we get into the hierarchy of sight. It'll never happen.
Well, I think they're fools, because I think as blind people, like I have just the most amazing hearing, right? And my other senses are heightened. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I know, but look, I used to work as a military communications specialist, and I wanted to parlay that and move laterally into becoming a radio operator. They wouldn't let me. Why? Because I would have to complete basic training. So think about a blind person trying to do American Ninja Warrior.
Doing boot camp, you mean?
Correct.
Oh, well, I honestly think a blind person.
I don't think I should have to do.
I think the first blind person doing boot camp would be an amazing thing, and I think.
No, I don't think we can.
Dude, I went blind when I was 12, and they had me participating in the PE class with the other kids.
Yeah, but that's different than different than basic training.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I think if a blind person is really interested in fitness, and if they're dedicating their daily life to staying fit and getting healthier and stronger every day anyway, I say, why not give them some military training? Why not? You know what I mean? Teach them
I was going to
skills.
argue that there was a guy already in the Army, but that's the point, that he was already enlisted.
You mean he's blind? He was already enlisted before he went blind, you mean?
Correct.
So he went blind in the Army, and what happened? Did they kick him out or what?
No, they did not. He was reassigned, and that's why I was going to try to leverage. Look,
But he had done the training. So what good does the training do that he had done since he had gone blind? That's my question.
Right. And I was gonna try to leverage that, but it just, I just was shut down, and I'm not made of money, so maybe if I would have fought it in court or whatever, but I don't know that it's worth making that big of a stink. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I think I could have operated as a radio operator, but the requirement was at that time you have to complete basic training in order to be a radio operator.
Wow. Well, like I said, I mean, it still puts you on almost equal footing with that guy who had done that training, but now he's blind. He probably does not have the same skills as you do.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of sympathy for those who are losing their vision and
I do too.
who eventually do in fact lose it. Like I really feel for those people, because I was talking to someone one time and they said, as someone who's losing my vision, when you're in a crowd and you're in a crowd of a whole bunch of people you don't know, the feeling of aloneness is one that you've never experienced before. And I said to that person, welcome to our world. You're in a crowd of 300, 400 people. I mean, I didn't say it like that, but that's basically how I said, well, I have to say that this is something that a lot of us go through. I was a little more tactful than that, but basically, welcome to our world. When we're in a crowd of 400, 4,000 people, when we're in a crowd, maybe we're at a church with 1,200 people. When we're at a church of 1,200 people and you're all by yourself, boy, it's a feeling. And that most people will never understand.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just is. It ain't me complaining. It just is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Wow, what an interesting discussion we had today.
But I think though, if you are blind or your vision has, and I will say unfortunately decreased to the point where it's really not going to do much for you. Still, if you want to go to that concert, if you want to go to that church, you should go. Oh, it'll be an adventure, but you should go. I went. I did it. I went to a concert where I didn't know nobody would go with me, but I wanted to go by God, so I went. And kind of like Andi was saying, I'm more of an extroverted person. It's hard for me to meet a stranger, so I just went. I
think a concert is one thing, but then like I think, and I know we have to wrap this up, but I think like a concert's one thing, and I think I could do that okay, because you'll find ushers and people who can help you out. But I think if you was to go to say a 6-day camp and say you was the only blind person there and everyone else was sighted, I don't know if I'd do that. That might be a little tougher.
I went, when I lived in Montana, I went on a church retreat with some women from my church. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like going on something like that. You know what I mean? Like a camping trip or something.
Yeah, but in that event, see, I could see going to a men's retreat like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But like if you go to, say, a music camp where there's different activities throughout the day, when you're in a retreat, it's a more structured environment. You kind of, okay, this is game time, this is Bible verse time, this is supper time. You go to like maybe a different kind of a camp where maybe it's a sports camp, you might have different activities going on at once. Now you got to figure out which one you want to go to. And now someone has to help you go to those. Don't know if I'd go to something like that. I know some people would. I just don't know if I'd be willing to pay, say, $1,800 for the camp and then maybe $800 for the plane ticket and not get my full money's worth. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Some people
I
would.
think it's all down to the person. Because some might do it, but I can see your point, right? Like I would probably never just sign up for, let's say, a sculpting class, just a regular, just go on Groupon. Oh, here's a sculpting class. Yeah, I probably wouldn't, because I already know, like, they're not going to know how to help.
Or dance class or something.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what people say is, oh, okay, well, you can sign up, and what people will say, promoters and friends that mean well, oh, well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of nice people to help you. Okay, I'm sure is another way of also saying I'm not sure, but I'm going to say that to make you feel better. You could be right. You could be wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I don't. I mean, I agree with going and participating in all these kinds of events and more. Anything that we're interested in, but I never like going and saying, okay, so who's going to help me here, right?
Yeah.
I just like going, and everybody around me sees my cane. They know I'm blind. And so
Yep.
I just wait for people to come to me and say, hey, can I help you? And it's a good way to meet other people at the event too, because then when they come up to me and say, hey, do you need help? Can I help you?
I'm
And
saying
I
it. I'm
introduce
saying, see,
myself
that's-
to them. I'm
that-
like,
yeah.
I've met so many nice people that way at different events. You know what I mean? I really feel like, even though like at one point my blindness was a barrier between me and other people, I feel like since I've been using my cane so long and I've become competent with it, now it's become like a door between me and other people instead of a
yeah, but
wall.
I hate bothering people. I know we're out of time.
No,
We're gonna go, but
I'm.
I-
Go ahead. Go ahead, Anya.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't like bothering people unless I absolutely have to.
Mhm.
Especially
No,
in a
I'm
relaxed
with you.
environment. If people are chilling and like, hey, excuse me, do you know how to get to the bathroom? Which way do I
Yeah.
go?
No. Or like,
Oh,
hey. No,
what I do
I'm
is
with
I
you.
ask for directions and then I go with my cane and head out and try looking for it. And usually I get close and then someone else will be like, oh, are you looking for the bathroom? It's right over here. You know, something like that.
Okay. What would you do, Becca? Okay, so say you go to a rock fest, okay,
Uh-huh.
and it's a 4-day festival, and you hang out
Okay.
there and you're by yourself, and
Uh-huh.
everyone else can see. You're the only blind person, and say they go, okay, breakfast is in room 202. So you go find your way to breakfast.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you ask the staff or do you say ask a pedestrian, hey, can you help me get the food?
I ask the staff, unless a pedestrian, when you say pedestrian, I'm assuming you mean the guests. I ask the staff for help unless I've already met a pedestrian who's there doing basically the same thing I'm doing, who offers to help me. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Now, what if
I'm
there isn't
totally
a
with
staff?
time,
Rebecca.
I wind
I'm
up
totally
meeting
with
somebody
Rebecca
there.
on this. Yeah.
Because I've been to breakfasts or whatever where, yeah, there's cooks, but they're in the back. There really isn't anyone supervising anything.
Yeah, you have to really look for someone in the right
Yeah.
uniform or something.
There have been times when I've had to go looking for help, but honestly, it just seems to me, I don't know if I'm more outgoing or if I'm just going to different kinds of events than I used to go to. I just remember a time when I would wander around looking for like an assistant in a department store when I needed help and stuff. And now anymore, it just seems like when I do need help, I'm starting to look around for somebody, and they're usually somebody stepping forward saying, hey, do you need help? I
Well,
don't know if
see,
the
and I-
public
and I
has
It
don't
depends
changed or
on the
I've
place.
changed.
See, we're depending on the goodness of other people, and that's always won the day for me as well. But anymore,
Ladies.
I'm with you, Becca. I'm with you. Let's go get them.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to encourage our viewers, if you are blind or disabled in any other way, I want to encourage you to get out. Don't stay at home and keep the joy of knowing you from the rest of the world. You know what I mean? Because the world is a great place and there's a lot of great people out there you could get to know and who could get to know you.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for watching us
yeah.
tonight.
And if you have any comments on our topics, or if you'd like to suggest some new topics that we're not already covering, please email us at beccameadows76@gmail.com, and I'll share your message with the rest of the crew. Thank you, everybody.
All right, everybody.
Peace out.
I'll talk to
Bye,
you next
everyone.
week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Becca's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.